What is up, and welcome back to Beyond the Arc with Brandon Silvers. As always, I am your host, Brandon Silvers. The WNBA offseason has been insane so far. We haven't even gotten to the draft. It's been ridiculous, moves left and right. And I need to figure out which moves are good, which moves are bad, and most importantly, which moves should I respect. So who better to have on than the creator of the WNBA Respect Generator? She does all kind of cool stuff on social media at the handle WNBA Data. It is an honor to be joined by Maddy Brown today. Maddy, what is going on?
Nothing. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So first of all, before we get to these teams' off seasons, where did you get the idea for the WNBA Respect Generator?
Yes, so it can be a long story if I wanted it to be, but I tried to write notes about how it came to be. So the WNBA Respect Generator, well, for context, right now it's like in the form of a website in my link tree where you can go and click a button that says respect, and then it gives you a WNBA player to respect randomly. But it first came about because, you know, sometimes people's comments are annoying, especially around women's basketball, but also just in general, especially on TikTok, in my opinion. But I had been making a couple videos about Cameron Brink and her blocks in her rookie season of the WNBA, because Diana Taurasi said something about how she could be top 3 in blocks or something. So I made a video that's like, if she wants to do that, she's going to have to go through Ezzy or something like that. And then someone goes, the Asia disrespect is unreal. Like, okay, like the video wasn't about Asia. Like, obviously she's good at blocks, but I don't have to mention like every player in every video.
That would be tough.
Yeah, that would be tough. If I mentioned every player that is good at blocking shots in a 1-minute video, that would be the whole video, and it wouldn't actually end in a minute. Yeah, so it was kind of like something that me and my girlfriend talked about. It was really like her idea to make a video like kind of as a joke in response to that comment. It wasn't a direct response. I don't know if that person ever saw my videos again, but just to like start a video or like start or end every video by respecting every WNBA player, because that's what they wanted apparently, or maybe they just wanted Asia Wilson. But yeah, you can't mention every player. So what I decided to do was I just like wrote a little code thing that'll just randomly spit out a WNBA player's name. And in that first time I did it, we like just did a short video that was just me standing and running the code on my computer, and it came up with Diamond DeShields. And surprisingly, people were really into it on TikTok and on Twitter. I didn't think that people were going to love it that much. And then people were wondering, who should they respect today? The next day, they're like, I don't know who to respect. So that's when I ended up making a website out of it. And yeah, I'm not really a coder, but it's up there now. You can still respect people as much as you want.
Please do. We're going to put that in the show notes so that you can get your daily dose of respect in as well. A really creative way to deal with social media comments. I have not found a similar one yet myself, other than yelling and screaming in my own home.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it. So maybe, hopefully that will spark some sort of creative thing in my brain, because yeah, women's basketball discourse on the internet is unreal at times.
Yeah.
And, it's just
there's some
something
disturbing YouTube thumbnails that I see sometimes, and I try not to look at them or acknowledge their existence.
Yes. But that's okay, because guess what? The discourse today going to be fantastic. So if you're ready, we can go ahead and get into it. So
yes.
This is what we're going to do. We're going in alphabetical order, which makes me scared because I'm always am terrified that I've forgotten a team or something. I don't know. But we'll name the team. I'm going to give the notable moves that they've made so far this offseason. And then we're going to discuss. We respect, as Maddy said, we respect everyone in the W. We're just going to discuss how much we respect the moves. So everyone's getting a dose of respect from us. We're just trying to figure out how much respect. So there you go. That's the format. Starting with the Atlanta Dream, 15-25 last year, got a new coach. Also brought in Shatori Walker-Kimbrough. Brittany Griner was the headline signing. Also got Bree Jones from the Sun and Holly Winterburn. They did lose Cheyenne Parker-Tyus and Tina Charles, as well as Letitia Amihir. Maddie, how much should we respect the Dream's offseason so far?
I feel like so far that's pretty big respect, big physically and big players to get Brittany Griner and Brianna Jones, right? That I feel like that will make me understand the Dream a little bit more this year. Last year, I feel like I didn't really know what was going on with them, but I feel like I can see a little bit more of a vision this time.
Yeah, because I think that was like the main criticism last year was it was just Tina Charles and nobody. And they were like, oh, y'all want us to have bigs? Well, here you go. We're going to sign them all. So I am interested to see how that Bree Jones, Brittany Griner pairing works. But I do think you'd rather have it than not.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Brittany Griner isn't like playing the whole game type of deal currently. So I feel like that could work out for both of them, even if they're not on the court at the same time. That would be good to rotate.
Yeah, stagger the minutes some. I do think the Walker-Kimbrough signing also is underrated. She was really good last year for the Mystics. So, I was bummed personally to see Amihir leave. I'm here in South Carolina, but someone had to go. I mean, they have all kind of talent there. Someone had to go. That's just the nature of the league, unfortunately. And I think the same thing can be said about Parker-Tyus. Her role was a little bit diminished last year. And Tina Charles, she wanted to return to Connecticut. I can't blame her there. And I think they did a pretty good job of upgrading what they lost.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so respect.
Respect. We're going respect here. Are we grading respect or are we just going respect?
I think most of them are just going to be respect. Maybe some of them will be really respect. Or maybe some of them might be I don't know. There's not really any that are like slightly less respect, but maybe we'll see if I forget something.
That's true. Some are more confusing, but again, I respect them nonetheless. The only thing I don't respect about the Atlanta Dream, your ticket office, y'all have to get it together. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I'm not calling for any jobs. I would never do such a thing. And I do respect you, but I could respect you more. It's been a hassle for me and several other people I know. It's the closest team I have to me in Charleston, South Carolina. Ticket office. I need you to raise your level of respect to the team's level of respect, please. Okay? That's all I ask.
Like what? Do you want them to raise their prices?
No. The opposite, actually. But oh man, they've just had some customer service snafus, I would say. And I'm like, wait a second. The respect needs to go both ways. And sometimes I feel like it doesn't.
Yeah, they got to respect themselves.
Yes, that's all I ask. All right, moving on to a team whose ticket office I have not dealt with. The Chicago Sky, 13-27 last year, new coach in Tyler Marsh. They brought back Sloot. They also brought in Beck Allen, Kia Nurse from the Sparks. They lost Dana Evans, Lindsey Allen, and Kennedy Carter. What are we thinking about the Sky's offseason so far?
It feels interesting and random to me. I guess it's better than a couple years ago when it was like this. I feel like the Sky and the Storm were like both not really doing anything. So it's good that they're doing things. And it's really interesting that Courtney Vandersloot is back. So respect. I guess she's also saying respect to the Chicago Sky.
Yeah, respect. No, and I kind of see a little bit of the vision. They definitely look like they're trying to add more shooting, which was a problem last year. I know Beck Allen, she's a great role player just in general, but she can shoot it. Kia Nurse had a little bit of a down season last year, but I do think of her as a shooter. I do respect her shooting ability. But yeah, the big story would be Sloot coming back. Not the Sloot in her prime, still worthy of respect. And I do still trust her to run a respectable offense and most importantly, get the ball into the post to Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that works out. And hopefully they will, I don't know, be able to do better with some more like veteran leadership in that sense.
Yes, I think that's probably gonna be the biggest thing that Sloot brings. And I'm curious, we're not there yet, but when they get to the draft, perhaps they draft a point guard, and then you've got a built-in mentor right there with a champion, Courtney Vandersloot, one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, they have like the 3rd pick, I think. Is that true?
Yes, I believe so. And I think they've got another one they've got the number 3 and number 10.
Yeah. Yeah, so they could do it. Like you said, that would be good. And that's maybe something the Storm should do too. Get a little baby point guard.
I agree there. And we'll get to that as well. But yes, respect to the Chicago Sky.
Yeah, respect.
The next one, I'm going to need a little bit of talking through with this one. The Connecticut Sun, 28-12 last year, but they've kind of blown everything up. Got a new coach as well. They signed Tina Charles. They signed the OG Respect Diamond DeShields. Brought in Lindsey Allen, J.C. Sheldon, Natasha Cloud. They lost Alyssa Thomas, DeWanna Bonner, Dejanay Carrington, Ty Harris, Tiffany Mitchell, and Veronica Burton went in the expansion draft. We respect what the Sun are doing, but how do you feel about it in general?
Yeah, I feel like it's a little harder to respect. Not that they've done anything wrong, but it's like, I don't know what they are doing. It's kind of sad for everyone involved, how everyone left. Like the way the Sun were like one of the teams that could always like compete with the top teams the last several years, or even like the last 10 years, like going to the finals, but never winning. So it's kind of depressing that the best players ended up leaving. I don't know if that's a sign of disrespect. I don't feel like it is, but yeah, could be better, but maybe JC Sheldon might thrive. I don't know. I don't know. Natasha Cloud is there. That could be fun, but I don't know if she wants to be there.
Yeah, I don't know. We also know Marina Mabry does not want to be there. We know that for sure. But I am having a hard time. I guess they have like a roster that's basically a bridge throughout the rebuild is kind of what we're seeing, like a mix of some vets that should be good for the short-term future and some young players where they can kind of see what they've got. Like you mentioned, JC Sheldon. I'm curious how good she can be in the league. But no, it is kind of interesting, especially like you said, after them being perennial contenders. I guess they felt like, they hit the ceiling, and so nowhere else to go. Let's blow it all up and start over. But very, very interesting to see them kind of do all that. And I don't think they came away with enough draft capital from their moves, in my opinion. That was kind of, for a team that's rebuilding, I feel like you need draft capital.
Yeah, I don't even know what they have. Like, I think I wrote down they have like the 8th pick or something right now.
Yeah, and like you're going to get a quality player. Like in a lot of mocks right now that I've got pulled up, Anissa Morrow's going 8th, and she's a fantastic player for sure. But I would like to see them, kind of like the Sky we just talked about, have a couple of first-round picks. Let's see what we can do. Start the youth movement, maybe upgrade the facility. But they're not doing any of this stuff yet, and I'm very confused, although I do respect it.
Yeah, they feel really random right now, and without like the main Sun pillars of like Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner, it'll be weird to watch them because I don't know like what the main feature is going to be.
That makes 2 of us, but nonetheless, respect.
Yeah, respect. Respect Tina Charles.
Yeah, man, she was incredible last year. I'm glad. Thank you for bringing me back to her, because it looked like maybe she might not even get back into the league, but she was just fantastic leading that Atlanta team, even though that was kind of a mess like we just talked about. It wasn't very cohesive, but she found the fountain of youth. Come on, Tina, let me know where it is.
Yeah, maybe they'll build around her, and that could be interesting.
Yeah. So you never know. All right. Moving to a team that is getting younger and preparing for the draft, the Dallas Wings, another new coach, 9-31 last year. They brought in a lot of pieces. They brought in Alyssa Smith, Dejanay Carrington, Ty Harris, Kiki Herbert-Harrigan, Maisha Hines-Allen. They did lose the aforementioned J.C. Sheldon, Satu Sabali, Kehlani Brown, Natasha Howard, and a couple of others. But I kind of see where they're headed. How about you?
Yeah, I just wrote down chaotic before this started, but I feel like it's not chaotic in a bad way. Like, they actually did get a lot of like quality players, and from what it seems like on social media, I'm not sure that they seem to be excited. Like, the players, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know them personally, but it doesn't seem like they're depressed to go to the Wings.
They seem at worst neutral, I would say.
Yeah.
Which is better than we've seen with other destinations.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, so I guess I respect the grind. Kurt Miller's on his grind.
Yeah,
I feel like he's getting some of his old girls from other teams, bringing them over. Yeah, so I don't know. Just, I guess, respect. We'll have to see how that works out for them.
Yeah, I think there was a period in free agency where I was pretty convinced that Kurt just was not sleeping. Like, I was going to bed and he was making a move. I was waking up and he was making another move. He was just really wheeling and dealing, which I respect that kind of hustle, number one. I think Dejanay, I wonder what she's going to develop into offensively, because I could see her becoming kind of like a Benaj Eleni Hamilton piece if she adds a more consistent three-point shot. And then probably my hottest take today, maybe it's mild, I don't know, you tell me. Ty Harris, I believe she'll probably be coming off the bench behind Paige and Arike. I really like her as a sixth player candidate.
Yeah, I can respect that take.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like she could start, but yeah, if it's going to be Paige, then probably not. But yeah, especially if like the Wings end up doing well this season, which it seems like they could. They have good players. Yeah, that definitely seems like a good prediction. I can't think of any other 6 players of the year off the top of my head.
I just think she was just really good at Connecticut last year, first time starting, and she's a starting caliber point guard. But I do think she can fill that role of that third guard. So that is, place your bets now. I know sports gambling is huge, so go ahead, people, and don't get mad at me if it doesn't work out. I do think I would like to see them with a little more size. They were like the biggest team in the league last year, and right now it's just Big T, who is awesome. Respect to Big T, Tierra McCowan. I would like to see a little more size, but they're in the middle, like we said, of a rebuild. They're coming up, and they do have a very talented team. So yeah, I agree. Respect, Dallas.
Yeah, respect. And maybe they can pick a big person with the 12th pick or something.
That's true. So moving on to one that's going to be a little bit trickier, but the Golden State Valkyries, the newest team in the league. They had the expansion draft. They just signed Letitia Ami here. The big get was Tiffany Hayes from the Aces. Do we know enough to respect what the Valkyries have done so far?
I don't know. I feel like they could have done more. I don't know, like, all the ins and outs, or like if there's anything about the like CBA next year that's like stopping people from wanting to join this brand new team and potentially just like leave the next year. But it does feel like they could have gotten like a bigger player. Maybe a bigger player would want to be like the new leader of this team. Maybe that's like what Tiffany Hayes might see herself as. But yeah, I thought people leading up to this were talking about, you know, potentially like Kelsey Plum or something being like the big player to come over. And I don't know, it seems like a missed opportunity for like every WNBA player that was a free agent.
Yeah.
And the Valkyries.
Yeah. Just kind of weird because you're right. I like what they did in the draft in some areas in the expansion draft, but other areas it kind of felt like they were really counting on free agents to come to Golden State. And then the pieces they do have that I like are mostly like very good role players. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, I wonder if, I mean, that's a lot of pressure we're going to be a star of a brand new team. Maybe people didn't have the stomach for that, but maybe you're right. Maybe they're waiting for these big contracts to really show up, because I imagine Golden State's going to have a ton of cap space next year. I haven't done the math, but yeah, just kind of underwhelming. They do have the draft. They could be waiting for if they get like a Juju Watkins because they're not so great in the beginning, then it is what it is. Maybe it all works out in the end. But yeah, I was a little confused because you're right. We heard them in all kinds of rumors, and I was like, Tiffany Hayes, great get, but I was expecting a little bit more.
Yeah. And I guess they don't have to be great their first year, and that's fine. But yeah, I thought it was weird how like they were saying something like the disappointment of only having the 5th pick really limited us or something like that. Like, did they really think they were going to get the number 1 pick or what?
That's confusing too, because I mean, historically in WNBA drafts, rookies aren't huge contributors right off the bat. So why are you relying on that? But hey, they're new here. So maybe they didn't know yet.
Yeah. And I guess it is disappointing, but the 5th pick hopefully should be good for them.
Yeah. Because let's see, I'm going to look up some. Well, yeah, these mock drafts have it all over the place, but maybe a Kiki Iriafin. I'm seeing some Anissa Morrows there too. This is across the timeline who has a whole ton of mock drafts from different people compiled, if you are interested in that information. But we'll see what the draft looks like. But yeah, I don't know if anyone was super disappointed in them not getting the number 1 pick and was like, you know what, I'm not going to sign there after all. I think there's probably something else to it.
Yeah, I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see how like the players they did get from the expansion draft turn out. So right now it's like kind of a random list of players. Like if you hit the respect generator 10 times, that's the list of players you would get, probably.
That's how they should have done the draft.
Yeah, that's what it feels like what they did.
Like, all right, here we go. So now I respect to them for coming into the league, respect to the players. Someone's going to step out of that group just because they get increased responsibility and show us some things we did not know about them that they had in their bag. So respect to the Valkyries, but you know, keep working, keep trying.
Yeah, we'll see.
We will see. All right. The next team we will talk about is probably one of the least likely teams I will post clips on social media for. The Indiana Fever, 20-20 last year. Very enthusiastic fan base. They made a lot of moves in the offseason so far. They got Natasha Howard, Dewana Bonner, Sydney Colson, Brianna Turner, Jaylen Brown, Sophie Cunningham. They did lose Nalissa Smith, Katie Lou Samuelson, Grace Berger, and Victoria Saxton. But they got a new coach as well, Stephanie White from the Sun. How much are you respecting what they did this offseason?
A medium amount. I'd say they get knocked down a little bit for waiving Grace Berger. My girlfriend's brutal. Really obsessed with that. Yeah, it's kind of rude. I know that's just how it goes, but I don't know. It's like Grace Berger, Sydney Colson. I don't know. I guess Sydney Colson is, people say like she's a good like locker room presence, which seems true. But yeah, it seems like they got a lot of like older players that are like good, but I don't know if that means that they're gonna win the finals, like ESPN says, or something.
Yeah, that's a bold prediction, but they're definitely going for it this year, it would seem. Like if you sign players who are on this much of a different timeline than you would think a Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston are, it seems like you think you can contend this year. So respect to them for going all in. I'm definitely a Grace Berger. I could not believe she didn't get more time last year. I'm a Grace Berger truther. But
Yeah.
you mentioned locker room presence, Sydney Colson. She's also she did great when she had some minutes with the Aces when she got off the bench there. She's a great defender, energetic, good Twitter follow as well. I think I see what they're trying to do. I'm not sure I necessarily agree with it. Their biggest move was probably re-signing Kelsey Mitchell, which isn't anything new, just making sure that she stayed there because I know that was kind of up in the air. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I feel like Kelsey Mitchell was one of those people that people thought might go to the Valkyries.
Yes.
So I wonder if that was something she actually did consider, or if they convinced her that we're building bigger, we're going to make it farther in the playoffs this year. I don't know. But yeah, with like DeWanna Bonner, it would be weird for DeWanna Bonner to not like go far in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's what they're thinking.
Like she can do it.
Yeah, just her.
She belongs there. Yeah. Yeah. Because I do like, I like that move. Natasha Howard, I think she can score in a similar way to Nalissa Smith. And she isn't what she was defensively, but an upgrade over Smith, you would think defensively. But it's really interesting to see them. And to be fair, respect. They did have a fantastic second half of the season, but really interesting to see them kind of go all in on maybe the next year or two, just all of a sudden.
Yeah. It's hard in some ways to separate the team from the vocal fan base, as you say. So in some ways I find myself rooting against them for that reason, but like I wish success for most of the players on the Fever, not Sophie Cunningham, but the other ones. Even Caitlin Clark, I'm not a hater.
No, fantastic player.
Respect.
Yeah, respect to Caitlin Clark. Sophie has to give respect to get respect, and that's a struggle off the court for her. So,
yeah, maybe someday.
Keep working, Sophie. But respect to the Fever in general.
Yeah, respect.
The Los Angeles Sparks, 8-32 last year. They also have a new coach because that's just what everyone in the league was doing. The big move in something, both of their big moves are, I think, right in your wheelhouse, even more than everything else we've talked about. The sign and trade for Kelsey Plum, a Washington alum. And they also signed Mercedes Russell, who played for the Storm. They lost Lee Yeru, Zaya Cook, Lexi Brown, and Lasia Clarendon retired. How do you feel, especially with your knowledge about these players that they brought in? How do you feel about how the Sparks did in terms of respect?
I feel good. I wish Kelsey Plum would have ended up on the Storm, but it seems good to be on the Sparks. I don't know, for her, she seems happy on social media. So that's really what matters to me for some reason today. Just how happy they seem.
That's good. That's
what they project.
Yeah. Hey, are you happy? If you're happy, I'm happy. That's a fantastic way to live life, honestly. Hey, if you like it, I love it. Congratulations, Kelsey.
Yeah.
And this will be her first time being the first option on a team since college, I believe.
Yeah.
The top dog, the top plum dog, if you will.
Yeah, the top plum dog. Yeah, I don't know. Is she going to be like the point guard of this team? That's kind of confusing to me.
Yeah, that is a great question because they do have Odyssey Sims as well. They brought her back. She's been doing great in AU, and she was fantastic last year too. I am curious to see how the rotation looks, especially when Brink comes back. Another reason for the respect generator. But Russell, in the meantime, if Brink's not ready to go at the beginning of the season, how do you like Russell after watching her with the Storm? How do you like her in the post holding it down until Brink comes back, or even off the bench when she does come back?
I think Mercedes Russell is good. Like sometimes I don't know why I'm like slightly annoyed with her for no specific reason, but yeah, whenever she like came off the bench with the Storm, I felt like she was really consistent. I feel like she's a little bit like rigid in her movements, but I didn't see her like turn the ball over very much. And she's like shockingly tall. I feel like she just like plops the ball in the basket like Brittany Griner does, basically. So I feel like that'll be okay, but that wouldn't be like their long-term solution, but it'll work.
Yes. So I think my only question mark would be some more consistent outside shooting for them. But they do have a lot of people who can score inside the arc. I'm liking this roster. I love De'Erica Hamby's motor. She just doesn't really stop ever. I think they're definitely going to be much improved. I could definitely see them in the playoffs. And so for that reason alone, I guess I have to say respect.
Yeah, maybe they'll be one of those teams that just runs around really fast, which I love. So yeah. Respect.
All right. Another team that I love as well. My own personal favorite team, the Las Vegas Aces, 27-13 last year. You know, Becky Hammon. This is some more right up your wheelhouse expertise. Traded for Jewel Lloyd. They signed Cheyenne Parker-Tice from the Dream, traded for Dana Evans from the Sky, and signed Tiffany Mitchell from the Sun. They did lose Kelsey Plum, Tiffany Hayes, Sydney Colson, Kate Martin, and in a devastating blow to me, Alicia Clark. But how much do you respect what the Aces have done, particularly in bringing in Jewel Lloyd?
I feel like that should be pretty big respect. I feel like as far as losing Kelsey Plum, like getting Jewel Lloyd is probably like the best trade-off that I could think of for them. Yeah, I guess they're like similar position, and I don't know. People are saying like Jewel is like way better than Kelsey Plum. I don't know that it's like an insult, but I don't know. It's kind of hard, like as a Storm fan last year, like going to all the Storm games. Like I don't know if like everyone around the country like saw how many shots Jewel missed, or like how like low energy she seemed sometimes, and like I don't know, like maybe that was like off the court issues that she was having, and like maybe it wasn't her fault, and maybe she'll like bounce back a lot. But it was kind of, I don't know, it kind of like got old like watching it in person like throughout the whole summer. So hopefully she like feels better on the Aces and ends up doing better.
Yeah, that was a rough one for Jewel last year. Just shot 36% from the field overall, and 27% from three, which not good. I do think the change of scenery will help. I wonder if the Aces would have been better served getting like a couple of solid role players with that amount of money, instead of just one player who is a great scorer, considering they have several great scorers on the roster. But I don't know if that was even available with the Plum Dog trade.
Yeah, like the other thing about Jewel, just besides having like a lower field goal percentage last year, was that she took a lot of shots that it didn't seem like she needed to take. So I don't know. I know like Becky Hammon's like a really good coach. Maybe she'll like make her tone it down a little bit, and then she'll end up being more effective and more efficient, which would be great for her and great for everyone. But yeah, she does have quite a large contract.
Yeah, so I don't know if I would have done that move personally, but respect to the front office. And it does kind of seem like they're betting on the change of scenery helping some of these players perform better with Cheyenne Parker Tice, who I said earlier, she probably needed to get out of Atlanta. Dana Evans leaving the Sky. I think they're counting on that a lot. I'm curious also to see if Becky kind of trusts the bench a little bit more, assuming that Evans and Mitchell are coming off the bench. I don't know who fills the roles that Alicia Clark, and Tiffany Hayes have played for them the past season or two. And Parker Tice will score inside, but I would have liked to see another big who could defend bigs brought in. But other than that, respect.
Yeah, it does feel like they're missing some things, and it always feels like they need more different versions of Kia Stokes on the team or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll figure that out as time goes on.
Yeah, I would have liked to have. I think like a Mercedes Russell type probably would have been good to have brought in, but now she's on the
Too
Sparks.
late.
Yeah, it's terrible. I don't know. So if you're looking for a general manager with no experience, I am here. Anybody. But respect to the Aces. I still love you. I still own plenty of Aces merch. So respect.
Yeah, respect.
All right, moving on. Minnesota Lynx almost won a championship. They didn't really do a ton except the one notable move. They did bring in Grace Berger.
Yeah, that's the only thing I wrote down.
This might be the most respect you can get from a single move. And they also lost Xander Lassini in the expansion draft and Maisha Hines-Allen. They did so few moves that I checked even more sources than I normally do because I was terrified I'd miss something. So with that in mind, how much do you respect what the Lynx have done merely by mostly staying put and bringing in Grace Berger?
Yeah, I respect it. Like if they almost beat the Liberty in the finals, arguably did beat them, I don't know. Then they're pretty good. Yeah, and Natisha Heidemann re-signed, I think. Yep. That was like one of the 3 transactions they had or something like that. So I feel like that's a positive sign that they want to like keep going on what they have. So I would say respect, even though maybe they have room for a couple more players. I don't know, but they seem like they're in a good place.
Yeah, I do respect that they believe in what they did so much last year. They're going to run it back. And I think they will once again be near the top of the league. I guess the only question mark, I think Hines-Allen provided like a level of toughness that really helped them out throughout the playoffs. So I'm curious how they replace that. I also want to see Alyssa Peely's been playing great in AU. If she gets an expanded role moving forward, but respect to the Lynx. They're awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say maybe Alyssa Peely is like Maisha Hines-Allen, but a few inches shorter, I think. Yeah. Maybe that could be something. And isn't Diamond Miller still in existence?
Yep, she's still there. She's definitely, she's tough. I like Diamond Miller. She's been kind of banged up so far in the league, but I'm hoping she gets healthy and can really show us what she showed us when she was at Maryland, because she's incredible. And again, I love players who are in that Skylar Diggins-Smith mold where they're just going to get in your face no matter what. And I appreciate that because I was very annoying in that way as well.
Yeah, gotta respect it.
Respect it. And the team that beat the Lynx possibly in those finals, the New York Liberty, we were getting very close to having even less to say about them, but they did just sign Izzy Harrison from the Sky right before I entered Riverside to record this. They lost Courtney Vandersloot and they lost Kayla Thornton in the expansion draft. So Izzy Harrison, kind of similar boat to the Lynx where they're just going to run it back with what they had. How much do you respect that with the defending champions?
This is breaking news, I feel like.
It is.
I don't know.
I was like, it was literally like right before I logged in. I was like, oh, there we go. Now we have something.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it was just some training camp contracts, and those players could be great, but whew.
Yeah, that's respect for signing Jalen Sherrod. I don't know about the other ones, but yeah, Jalen Sherrod respect. Yeah, I guess it'll be interesting to see how Izzy Harrison does on a team that is better than like the last couple years, the teams that she's been on. Yeah. And Brianna Stewart isn't like officially signed yet, is she?
I don't think so. So that's interesting. I also don't expect any surprises there, but it would be funny.
What would be funny if she didn't sign?
Yeah, if she didn't, she's like, you know what? Just trade me somewhere, and we'll just like that would be so chaotic, and I think the whole league would melt down, possibly.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I wouldn't put it past her to just say, not this time.
Yeah, just put out a bunch of emojis and she's gone.
Yeah, we have to find her somewhere in the world with the emojis.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how she was cored, I think. I don't know how that works, if they have to pay her a certain amount or if she's waiting to sign a contract for whatever money is left after they're done signing people. I'm not sure how that goes.
That's a good question, because I tried to dive into the WCBA like rules, the WNBA CBA, oh Lord, rules, and it's so much, and you're like, why are all these terms here? What did I watch Judge Judy, and that's my legal expertise, and so needing to know all this is really a lot. But yeah, I do believe she's cored. I think that means that if someone else signs her, that they have to trade a first round pick or something. But I also may have made that up entirely.
Yeah. I don't know. That sounds reasonable, but we'll see. I guess the internet said she's expected to sign with the Liberty, whatever. And of course, but we'll see. I would love for something random to happen though. And then I would really respect that.
Yeah, I would respect that for sure. I would. But in the meantime, I do respect what the Liberty have done. Again, choosing to run it back, much like the Lynx.
Yeah. Where's Honshu, though? I don't know why they don't sign her.
Someone, please. Please. Then, if you want our respect, you'll do that. The Phoenix Mercury. Interesting team last year, 19-21, under new coach Nate Tibbetts. They were very busy this offseason. They traded for Satu Sabali, Alyssa Thomas, Kehlani Brown. They also signed Sammy Whitcomb. They lost Natasha Cloud, Brittany Griner, Kiki Herbert Harrigan, Sophie Cunningham, and Beck Allen. This was a busy offseason for the Mercury. Another one of those teams I'm not entirely sure that I see the vision, so help me respect them better.
Yeah, it really feels like they collected a bunch of players that hypothetically are all really good players, but yeah, I don't know how this isn't really a traditional team. It feels like right now, I don't know, Satu, I guess Alyssa Thomas, is she going to be a point forward still? They got rid of Natasha Cloud. Now what? What's happening?
Yeah, very confusing. I think feels more like if you were playing fantasy and you drafted all these players, you'd feel pretty good about yourself because, hey, I'm going to rack up the points. But I think in actual basketball, I'm not sure how it looks. So we're going to have to see there. Also, I feel like they lost a fair amount of shooting. Didn't really bring back much. You've got a bunch of players who work best from mid-range in. That never looks good. Mm-hmm. That I've never seen a team make that look good since maybe back in 2003. But that was probably the last time. You need some floor spacing, and they don't really have it. And that scares me for them.
Yeah, like Sammy is a good 3-point shooter, but I don't think she's like starting. I don't think she's
Yeah.
there to play a lot of minutes.
And Satu, she was on fire from three last year, but it's been kind of up and down, and she's been injured off and on too. So just trusting she's going to stay healthy and hit threes. I respect them for believing in it because I don't know if I do yet.
Yeah, I don't know either. It feels like they have a lot of players, though. I don't know if that's true. Like last preseason, they had a ton of players and then had to like cut them all. I don't know if that's what's going to happen again, or if Diana Taurasi's retiring. I have no idea.
That's probably the big question. Is she gonna run it back? Because I haven't heard anything except just some rumors here or there.
Yeah, like my girlfriend like makes it seem like she's for sure retiring, but I haven't seen this. And I know Diana Taurasi's like a troll, so I don't know if she will tell us until the first day of the season or what.
That's true. So we'll stay tuned for that because that obviously would change things up a great deal too for them. But yeah, I mean, I respect the big swings, the bringing in the names, but I'm going to have to see it work on the court before I'm able to fully respect what they're trying to do, I think.
Yeah, but I love Alyssa Thomas, and being on the West Coast, all the WNBA games are like at 4 p.m. except for like the Sparks and the Mercury games are like at 7 p.m. or something. So I will be able to watch Alyssa Thomas more often, which is great for me personally.
Respect to the Pacific time zone and respect to
Yeah.
Alyssa Thomas for playing without any labrums in her shoulder because
Yeah. Any shoulders, period.
yeah, she's just out there, just no range of motion. That is incredible. I would have cried, then quit in that order. So respect.
Yeah.
Now we are on to the team that you know the most about, I'm guessing, because you just said you go to all their games. So the Seattle Storm, 25-15 last year. They did trade for Lee Yeru. They signed Alicia Clark, Erica Wheeler, also Zaya Cook to a training camp contract, traded for Lexi Brown, also signed Katie Lou Samuelson, lost Jewel Lloyd, and Mercedes Russell. Tell us how much we should be respecting the Storm.
I think honestly the most amount of respect, like not just because I'm a Storm fan, but you know, it does feel like in the past they have not made any moves. Like the way Brianna Stewart just left was weird to me. Yeah, so I guess they've like figured it out, and the way that they've been like signing players like Alicia Clark and especially Gabby Williams.
Yes.
That's kind of shocking in a way. Like as a particular Gabby Williams fan, like the last 2 seasons, how she's just like dilly dallied and then signed like halfway through the season was always so stressful and an emotional roller coaster, worrying if she was going to sign with the Liberty. But it's nice that she's officially signed from the beginning of the season. So that's the number one move to respect for me.
She had me scared during the Olympics. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Whew. Respect to her.
Yeah, that was kind of tragic for her right at the end, but I guess America.
Well, that's probably sums up my feelings. I guess America on how things are going right now in the nicest way possible. I guess America. Respect to that. Yeah, I do think it's an addition by subtraction thing with the Storm, with getting rid of Jewel. That definitely needed to happen. And yeah, they're making some moves. I like the pieces they're bringing in. I like the team they already have. I really like I think Katie Lou here could work because I think being on the Fever and with the contract kind of being maybe feeling pressure to play a more prominent role, I think that weighed on her some, but going out to Seattle, kind of play a different role. You've got Skylar, you've got NECA. You just knocked down some threes, which they needed last year. So, you know what? Respect to the Storm.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like Katie Lou maybe would be able to fill what, like, the Sammy hole. I don't know if that sounded weird, but yeah. And I think it's a good sign for the Storm that like many players who were on the team last year, or I guess maybe not many, but like at least NECA like re-signed after their, I guess, scandal. I don't know. Yeah. And that like several players are like signing like new this year or like coming back to the organization, like Alicia Clark and Katie Lou was here before, I guess. And yeah, it's weird that they're signing like Zaya Cook and like Erica Wheeler that are, I guess, like point guards more or less, especially since the Storm got the number 2 pick from the Sparks, which is kind of surprising, but nice. But it seemed like they would want Olivia Miles or something to be like Skylar's little baby. So it's weird that they're like loading up on point guards or something.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I think they will lean into, assuming they draft Olivia Miles, I don't know why you wouldn't. I think that they would defer to her over Erica or Zaya. I think that's for sure more of like, let's see, like maybe the Sparks didn't use Zaya correctly. Maybe Erica still has more in the tank than we thought, type of like just kind of doing some due diligence, because otherwise I don't really understand it. But yeah, respect to them for getting the number 2 pick, because that is going to be huge moving forward.
Yeah, my respect for the Storm can only go up if they sign Maureen Johannes or Elena Deladon.
That would be incredible. And you know what? I believe, especially Maureen clearly would want to be there, right?
Yeah, and we would want her to be here. We being me.
Yeah. Man, I miss watching her in the W. So respect to Maureen Johannes, the one-legged three-point. Like, I can't even imagine doing that and not tearing everything in my leg. But respect to her. She's awesome.
Yeah, respect to her legs.
Yeah, respect to her legs. All right, and finally, if I counted correctly, the Washington Mystics, 14-26 last year, another team with a new coach, new general manager, which might explain why they really haven't done anything incredibly noteworthy at all that I could find. Did you find anything? If so, respect to you.
Not really. I wrote RIP, and then I wrote, I think they got Emily Enxler and Shug Sutton to sign training camp contracts.
Yeah.
And Taylor Sewell. Right. That's not very many players.
I kind of wondered if they like slept through their alarm, is kind of the energy they gave off during free agency. Like, oh, free agency started. Like, I guess we should sign someone, but there's no one left. And they're just kind of hanging around. And you just mentioned, I am still curious, what are they going to do with Elena Deladon? Like, it kind of seems like to me she wants to still play, just not there. I can't imagine they've done a whole lot to change her mind about that. So maybe you trade her and you get something in return. Maybe that's what you do this offseason. That would be respectable.
Yeah, especially since it's like basically a whole different organization than when she last played. So, I don't know. Or maybe she would want a chill time. She'd want to be on a bad team. I don't know. But it does seem like she's just vibing in life right now.
She is living her best life for sure. So respect to her for that. But yeah, maybe she's like, I've done all this winning. Let's see what a rebuild feels like. Let's see if I can maybe look at it like a community service project or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like playing for the Mystics. And I'm joking because they do have some good pieces. Like we just saw Aaliyah Edwards in the one-on-one tournament with Unrivaled. I think she's going to really take a jump forward this year. So they have some pieces, but not really enough to where I expect them to do much. But pieces are there, pieces that will be enjoyable to watch, pieces that I respect.
Yeah, I really wish they got the number one pick, and they probably do too. I don't know if they were banking on that. They didn't make any arrangements otherwise.
They were like, we're just going to get Paige and call it a day. And then it didn't work out.
Yeah, and now they're going to have nothing.
Yeah, so keep them in your thoughts. But I think we covered it all. Is there anything else we need to cover? Or have we respected everyone properly?
That was all the teams for sure. And
Okay,
I guess,
God.
you know, what lastly comes to mind, Mike Tebow, who was the GM for the Mystics, who is not, you know, if he was here, things would be different. I feel like he was always the GM going wild, doing all the trades. And now Kurt Miller is doing that, but no one's doing it for the Mystics. So sad for Mike.
Yeah. Get back to wheeling and dealing, and in memory of Mike, who is still alive. I don't know why I said it like that. I'm sorry. We're happy.
No,
you're still
in memory.
alive, Mike.
Yeah, he went to Belgium or whatever. So respect.
Respect waffles and chocolate. Respect.
Yeah.
All right. So before we go, I'm going to clear out and let you do some self-respect and tell everyone where they can find you and all the great things you're doing. So the floor is yours.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, I'm at WNBA data everywhere. Just one word. Mostly on TikTok is where it goes down, where most people see my videos, I feel like. But we have vlogs from UW women's basketball games and Storm games. And I have like different weird data breakdowns. Lately, I've been figuring out how long the unrivaled fourth quarters are and stuff like that. So just like more random things that people aren't talking about. Like, I'm not going to be like, Caitlin Clark's 3-point percentage is so high, you know, but that would probably get more views. But anyways, yeah. So mostly on TikTok. I have very few followers on Instagram, but if you like Instagram, I'm also there. And on Twitter/X, I'm there. My videos usually go there. My tiny GF is usually the one posting. And yeah, YouTube. If you go on YouTube, the comments are usually silently off. So if you would like to comment, probably go on TikTok instead. Yeah, and at those places you can find my link tree to find the Respect Generator and all the other things that I do. So yeah, that's a little about me.
All right. I'm going to put all that information in the show notes, make it easy for everybody. With these research topics, do you take suggestions?
Yeah, I feel like the best videos are usually from suggestions.
Okay. I'm going to keep that in mind and try not to abuse that power you just gave me, because there's all kind of weird things I wonder about the W basketball gameplay and everything. And now I'm going to be like, okay, here we go. I've got someone who can research it much better than I.
Yeah, let me know. I am always trying to extract weird things from the play-by-play data of the WNBA games. The data isn't always the best, but we try.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you for coming on. This was a lot of fun. Appreciate everyone watching, listening, rating, reviewing, subscribing, sharing, commenting, all that fun stuff. And I will catch y'all later.